Hey, good evening. Let's see, we are streaming to YouTube and hopefully Twitch in a second. Great. I think we're online here. So welcome back to another episode of Dan Plays Games from the Elder Times. We were playing Stronghold for a couple of weeks. And tonight I'm going to switch to a new game. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late tonight because I was setting up a new game here of sticking with D&D games from 1993, of which there's a surprisingly large number. Going to play Fantasy Empires here and kind of compare what the domain building game is like in different PC games from the era. Quick note here, again, we've been streaming on Thursday nights here for a while. We're changing the weekly schedule for the Wandering DMs channel a little bit. Starting next week, I will be moving to Tuesday night, same time, 11 p.m. Eastern time here. But I'll be streaming Tuesday night, and the TDR show that will be moving to Thursday due to some of our players' work schedules at the moment. So look forward to seeing you in just 5 days again next Tuesday. All right, so I'm gonna boot up. I got the DOS box running here, and I'm gonna boot up Fantasy Empires and let it run through the introductory screen and see what that looks like from 1993. Whoops. I hit a button there. I didn't mean to do that. So trying to watch the intro here.
Welcome. It has been many a moon since I last had a visitor. You may have plundered dungeons. You may even have slain dragons. But you're yet to truly prove yourself as a master of war. I have prepared a formidable challenge for you. A test of wit, nerve, and strategic guile. You must demonstrate your skill powerfully if you're to become supreme ruler of Mystara. Behold, the world of Mystara awaits.
So, as you can hear there, control over here. Temporarily dial down the sound there. This game is like Stronghold, right? It's based on the D&D basic rules from the mid-'80s. So I think this is technically the BECME rules at this point. The basic rules are kind of extended to higher levels. So same rule set as Stronghold. It is based in the world of Mystara, otherwise known as the Known World. For a number of years, it was just called the Known World. And then they hit it with the name Mystara. So we will be playing in that world. A little side note, just as long as we're talking about that, it was just a couple weeks ago that we actually had someone get their hands on the original design documents for the Known World before it was ever published by Tom Moldvay and Lawrence Schick and Mr. Wilkerson. And if you're interested in that, I do have the link on the YouTube event right now, as a matter of fact, and you can go see the original design documents to the Known World, otherwise known as Mystara, which is kind of fortuitous at the time I was planning on queuing up with this game, as a matter of fact. Right? Glad you're here, Adam. Good to see you tonight. Glad that hits you the same way. Same way as it does me. Yeah, so let's get started here. So, got a couple options here. If I have a saved game, I can load it. They have some, and this was actually a pretty good idea. They have some pre-made scenarios that you can get into it and kind of like just get into the immediate fighting and get some experience with that. But I will make a whole new campaign here. So Interesting thing about this game, you know, this was just a couple years before you could assume that everybody had internet access. So this game actually is made for multiplayer play with multiple people sitting at the same computer, possibly. Doesn't have any online component, doesn't have any internet access. But as you can see here, you can actually have up to 5 players sitting in the same room. And this was a thing at the time that wasn't super uncommon through the 80s. Multiplayer games of people actually at one single device. So I obviously have to make at least one character for myself. So that'll be in this first box here. I think I can dial the sound back up here a little bit. I think that's acceptable. All right, so you're gonna roll abilities, right? So there's a rolly thing here. Make some kind of name. I should have had my random names up. How about Kelvin? All right, what kind of class do I want? Standard basic D&D classes, right? So race is class. Elf has its own XP table, so it's either elf. So if I can move up here, elf, dwarf, fighter, cleric, magic user. I guess that's it. Interesting. I guess they don't have halfling. That's somewhat surprising. So they don't have halfling, and I guess they don't have thief. Interesting. I guess so. Those are the types that I guess can get to higher levels and can lead countries, I guess. So I tend to go. Fighter. I don't see why not to do that. So I'll go my standard fighter. I'm gonna pick one of the 3 alignments: lawful, neutral, chaotic. I'm not sure whether it has too much direct impact on the game. I usually like picking lawful, at least to start, like we did last time. I could enter. Now it's interesting. This game sort of tries to give at least a couple nods in the direction of actual role playing between you and the other leaders, whether they're PCs or NPCs. So if I want to, I can enter a background or description of my character. Obviously, that doesn't have any impact on the game, so I'm not going to do too much. Kelvin comes from one very hot country and one very cold country. Okay, so that's my background there. So you get some randomly rolled abilities here, and like a lot of these PC games, you can just kind of re-roll to your heart's content. I think you can just arbitrarily add or subtract to them, actually. But I tend not to do that, so I'll just kind of roll until I get a reasonable leader, fighter type. Ooh. All right, those abilities I like very much. I like it very much. So I got the 18 strength, very good intelligence, wisdom, nothing's below 14. 17 charisma. That I will take. That I'm not going to fiddle with. So that's nice. I can also pick a portrait here that's built into the game. Just going to scroll through here. I actually kind of like that one. Okay, I like this one right here. Okay, so I'll pick that as Kelvin. Right? Jeez. I wish that would ever happen when I was at the table. Whoops. What am I supposed to do? You will lose this character. Was plus supposed to do it? Okay, okay. So I'm kind of relearning this. I haven't played this in quite a while. So the controls tend to be. I tend to have to kind of guess what the control's supposed to be. So it's the. Yeah, thank you. He looks like a Kelvin. You know, I actually visited the Lord Kelvin's gravesite when I was in Ireland. I actually took the time to do that, as a matter of fact. Yeah, right? In any edition, that's crazy. So the plus adds it, and I guess I can get out now. Great. And now that it's been added to the list of characters, now I have to separately select the character. This. Okay, so there's Kelvin right there. Oh, that's a separate. Okay, be careful, Dan, because I made a separate character earlier called Alfred. I don't want him. Here's Kelvin. And here's my player character, obviously. There are a bunch of pre-made characters in the system, which is great. And if I had other player characters, if I had other people in the room playing with me, I could add them here. Or you can pick NPCs in these other character slots. And the game is tough, actually. I'm not totally confident I'm going to be able to win the first time I go at this. It doesn't take any prisoners. I'm not going to be super brave and load this up with 4 non-player characters. Maybe I'll pick 2. I'll pick 2 foreign leaders to battle and call that a day. Okay, maybe Shingen and Damberville. I think that's right. That's a name that comes from the Principalities of Glantry, if I'm not mistaken. That seems to come back to me. I could be crazy. So how about those 2? And then among the options for the campaign here is I can go with the actual historical world of the known world, right, of where the dwarves live and where the mages live and stuff like that. Or I could scramble that up in an unpredictable way with a random world. But I think I'll go with the historical world, the known world that some of us are familiar with. I think that kind of feels nice. And then this other button here is what controls whether there's a fog of war. Okay, so fog of war means you only see stuff in the territories adjacent to your kingdom. If I put on show all, it's a little bit easier because I'm going to see what's happening all around the entire world at once, but that feels unrealistic to me, he said as he's playing Fantasy Empires. So I'll put that on fog of war is what I like, and that's the campaign I'm going to try to do here tonight. Yeah, those shields are the heraldry for that slot. I don't think they're changeable. I don't think. So one thing you're going to see me have to do in this game that I did in Stronghold is that I have to manage the DOS box speed from moment to moment. So somewhat awkwardly, this game running on a modern system, there's 2 totally different game modes here. There's the campaign mode, and then there's the actual battle mode. And they have totally different requirements on the CPU. I think back in the day, this worked better on a fixed CPU. But in DOSBox, it's trying to like make things go as fast as it can, and that works okay in the campaign and doesn't work great in the battle sequence. So tonight I'm actually going to have to manage the speed that DOSBox running at manually, which is a little bit awkward. But here we go. So this is the screen to start my turn, start Kelvin's turns. I'm the player sitting in the chair. I'm here and I'm ready to play. And of course, standard. Security policy, I gotta type in a word from the actual manual. Fortunately, I do have the actual manual to Fantasy Empires here. So I am prepared. And I gotta go to page 7. So this is before DMR was a thing. Under the heading Controlling the Game, please find word 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interaction. Okay. And clearly it starts with an I, so I found the right thing. Interaction. My password, and I can start the game. So you can see that I could have started anywhere in the known world. I can kind of scroll around by moving the cursor to the side of the screen. I got a dungeon master up on top who's going to give me some occasional advice as I proceed. But I've started in Trader's Isle, one of the islands south of the continent, which is normally the Minrothad Guilds. Any one of these areas I can right-click, and what I'm going to see is the worth of the place, which is the amount of gold you get per turn. Okay, so just for controlling this one space, I'm going to get 2,336 gold per turn added to my coffers in the top right, starting off with 30,000 gold. This space can produce warriors that are either elves, fighters, clerics, or magic users. Okay, can't get dwarves here, can't get other types of stuff here. But all that kind of standard D&D stuff is available in the Minrothad Guilds down here. Okay. Now, one of the display elements, you see that icon, that shield icon for my forces, exactly what that interface is showing is highly customizable. There's this button down here with the shield with a question mark, and I can pick a whole bunch of different displays to show on that. So I can either just show the ruling banner like it says there, or it can show a whole bunch of separate icons for what buildings are in that area and what troops are currently stationed in that area. I generally find that the most useful, so I'm probably going to keep it on that. Other options are precisely what type of regular troops are there, and different icons for fighters versus elves versus dwarves. Because I think generally here the fighters have swords and the elves have bows, and the dwarves have axes and that kind of thing. I could be showing what hero types are in the space, right? Higher level fighters or clerics or mages or whatever. Could show me that. Could show me what kind of siege engines are available in that space, because that's going to be important. Specifically, the super high level characters you have available in Beckme, either druids or clerics or magic users. It can show what recent damage has happened in that space, the damage crest. Those are your options. So generally I'm going to put it on the buildings and troops view. And just looking at that shield in this space, the top left, this space has a castle to defend me. So if I do get attacked in this space, the attacker has got to have something to knock down the walls of the castle. Which could be siege engines, could be high-level mage with like blasting spells. Okay, but just regular troops totally can't get into the castle. The top right is saying there's a keep in the space, which is basically means that it's settled and you don't have to worry about local forces uprising, I guess, basically. You have a little person here saying there are some regular troops in this space. And at the bottom, what is that? That's a tower. It's like a mage tower or something like that. Let me inspect that a little bit more closely. Okay, so that's the keep. That's 2 levels of castle. I guess that's all I'm seeing here. Right. Interesting. So I guess I don't have any regular troops here, but I do have 5 heroes basically of each type. I have an elf, dwarf, fighter, cleric, magic user, currently level 1, that could rise in level later on. I kind of expect to have some regular troops there, but I don't. And that's it. I just have that one space. Right. My goal ultimately is to pacify the entire continent, which is not easy, but that's the goal. So at the moment, I think what I ought to do is probably train more troops. So I'm going to click this people plus sign here. Okay. So I get a little scroll here of what things it's possible to train. And they have different costs. Elves are pretty pricey here. Would cost 2,000 gold pieces to train them. I only have 30,000 at the moment. The nice thing about elves is that they have bows, and so in the battles they can kill people from far away. That's obviously very powerful. Fighters, with swords, a lot less expensive, would cost 500 gold pieces. Now these are regular troops, and so each one of these units that I would buy would actually represent 20 people. Notice that that's very similar to the old chainmail war game that predates D&D, right? Each figure there represented 20 people, and I think that's the same for the mid-80s battle system game from the makers of D&D. So there's kind of this classic traditional one unit is 20 people, and that's what's actually happening here. Now I could also create a battering ram, which would allow you to get into somebody else's castle. If I build that as just one of them, or a ballista that's useful in a siege, or a catapult that is also useful for knocking down walls. Again, I build one of those, pretty pricey, I only get one. These things in a different color are heroes, so I could build one single elf hero that I could send on quests and possibly level up. I could possibly build a fighter hero, right? Just get one single one of those. But for now, I think I'm going to start off with just basically regular troop types like fighters, and I'll build I'll train 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Now, normally, so what I see in these icons here is, in order to train troops, you have to have an armory, and each armory can only train 3 units at a time. I just ordered 3 fighter units there. Fortunately, they are starting me off with 2 armories. So at least in this particular space of the board, I can actually train 6 units at a time. So maybe I'll do that, and I'll also build 2 elf units, I guess. 1, 2, and 1 more fighter unit. So at this point, I've ordered training for 6 units, and if I try to order another one, it's going to tell me I can't do that. All right, fighter training facility is currently full. You cannot train these troops that you want until space is available, which would happen next turn. All right, so there's that. Check that. So I have 6 units happening. I guess I could have confirmed exactly what's being built in the table view, right? So currently 1, 2, 3 fighters, 2 elves, 1 fighter, and the ETAs, how many turns it's going to take for them to appear. So fighters appear 1 turn later, elf units appear 2 turns later. So there's that. That's pretty much all I want to do this turn. If I had some regular troops, maybe I could send them somewhere. But I think I need to build them before I can do anything, so good enough. You know, let me modify. I'm going to modify the settings a little bit actually before I go on. So here's the settings key. I've got the DM effects on, so you can see the DM at the top's kind of watching my cursor. And I'm going to leave the DM advice on. So at some point he might chime in and tell me that I'm doing a bad job and how to do better. The detail level here is saying if we do get into a battle, we're going to draw 1 icon to represent 20 people. Kind of standard old school war game style. I actually don't want that. I actually want 1 person to be 1 person, so I'm going to flip that to 1 to 1. I could set it to 5 to 1 or 10 to 1 or 20 to 1. But I'll actually set it to 1 to 1 and have like full detail here. Again, older, computers, what are we talking now, 30 years ago, probably couldn't handle this, what I set it on. But my computer's like, modern computers, more than fast enough to represent every single person in the fight. So I think that's probably going to be fine. I can view the character. Okay, so here is, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I might have picked a really bad enemy. That might have been a terrible... That might have been a terrible choice. I might have made a terrible mistake. So I did remember correctly that D'Amberville is the name of the leaders of the Principalities of Glantry, the country that's ruled by high-level mages. I did not expect him to be 35th level and to have all 18s in every single ability score. Yeah. And then at the bottom it says, in Immortal in Combat, there is none better. Okay. Okay, maybe the music's a little bit too much? I tell you what, I will, let me come over and kind of dial it down into the background. Maybe that's better. I can still turn it off later if you want. Thanks for telling me that. Yeah, he has all 18s and he's 35th level. Okay, well, I might just get massacred here tonight and I'll have to come back next Tuesday and try it again. We'll see. Interesting. So this is a character that I made previously. Here's Kelvin. I'm currently 1st level. I thought I had pretty good ability scores, but next to that character, I don't look so great. And then the other one I'm fighting is Night Spawn, the Chaotic Magic User. Now, he's only 1st level, okay. Very ugly person. He started studying magic because of a consuming desire to alter his appearance. Okay, I feel like that I'm probably not a bad matchup for, but I'm going to tip. And then here's other people we could have picked that are built into the game that could be NPCs. These folks. Stuff like that. You notice that it's got to calibrate joysticks. So, like I say, in the 2 entirely different modes of campaign play versus the battles that the book actually calls arcade play, it's actually mostly set up for this arcade play with a joystick, as a matter of fact. Now, I don't have that I'm not entirely sure whether DOSBox can handle that, so I'm going to be controlling my characters with the keyboard, and it's going to be a little shaky, but I'm going to try to do my best. All right, I'm going to call that the turn. When I want to say that my turn's over, I hit this little omega symbol up here, that my turn's over. Yes, I do my turn. Now, if I had another human player, right, I would get up out of the chair and I'd let them sit down and they'd get their turn now. But since I'm the only human player, obviously it just rotates back to me, and here's my next turn. So, I'm going to get a little message here that Trader's Isle has trained new recruits, like all the fighters that I ordered last time have been trained. I guess that's basically it. I'm getting a message from Shingen, one of my opponents, and it says, "Send me aid or face my wrath." Now, I'm actually considering that, because since I have 2 opponents, and since D'Amberville is so terrible, I don't want to get on the bad side of both of them at the same time. So it actually is a consideration about whether I send aid to one of my opponents to make them be nice to me, basically, in Survivor style. I don't know. Do you guys have any opinions? Should I send Shingen aid right now? I mean, it's a little rude the way that he asked. I'll say that. I think I'm going to say no for now. Maybe I'll say no for now. I don't have many troops, so I'll say no to that. All right. So, admittedly, I need to expand my territory before as the NPCs are doing the same thing. So I definitely want to do that. I'm not sure I have enough troops. See, I only have 80 troops. So you kind of really need like 100 or more troops to take over another territory. So while that's a good idea, I'm not confident that I have enough troops to start expanding. So I'm going to build for another turn. Just going to build fighters because I just want high numbers to begin with. I probably should have done that last time. And I'm going to call that my turn. I'm not thrilled I'm not expanding quickly, but there it is. Oh, you know what? Okay, here's something I could do. I think this button down here is the quest button. So one of the options is my heroes is I can direct them to go on quests. And maybe a couple turns later, you know, they're doing dungeon type stuff. Maybe a couple turns later, they show back up with better experience and better magic items. All right, it's not a terrible, or maybe they just don't show up at all because they're dead. So maybe like the cleric and the dwarf I'm going to send on a veteran's quest, which is veteran, of course, means first level, so that's the lowest level here. Maybe later on I can send them on more perilous quests, but maybe that's all I really want to risk at the moment. I'm not sure I want to send the magic user out. So I will send them on some quests. And Friedner's asking, okay, good. Thank you, Permanent Camper, calling his bluff for the enemy that demanded troops. I think that's the right call. And Friedner's asking how much to only build clerics. I'd have to remember, it's... Now, in order to do that... So, you can build different buildings, right? You can construct different buildings in a space. So I'm drawing up those options here. So the keep is the thing that basically just secures new territories. What's next? The Armory? Right, the Armory, I'm going to speed up things here. This is a little slow. The Armory is what allows you to build fighter types. Okay, so fighters, dwarves, elves, siege engines, all that stuff comes out of the Armory. And then the castle is for defense, okay. Cost variable, you can build one bigger and bigger. And then you've got the cleric temple. So I would need a cleric temple before I build clerics. And it might be like 2,000 each once I do that. And then I also have a wizard tower I can build to build more mages. All right. Now that's the entire of the options. Those are actually all the buildings in this game. So you can compare that to Stronghold the last couple of weeks. It had like 200 different building types. and this game just has the 6, I think is what it is. So this game's clearly at a much higher abstraction level, right? I'm not building individual buildings all the time. I'm not tracking individual inhabitants' housing and stuff like that. It's at a much higher level where I'm taking over whole, kingdoms every turn. And there's just these 5 different building types. So it's kind of interesting to think about those different approaches to domain building in D&D. Is it better like super highly detailed, or is it better at this high level? And that's kind of why I wanted to play these 2 games back to back. All right, so that's what I got. I sent some quests. I built some more fighters. Call at the end of my turn. Okay, made some new recruits. So now I really got to start expanding. I think I'm going to go to the mainland here. I'll actually send an expeditionary force up to where the capital of Karamiakos is. Right here. The estate of Marilenev, that's where the capital of Karamiakos is. And you can get elves and fighters and clerics, and that's worth a little bit over 2,000 gold. So I think I'm going to invade that space. So I'll hit the send some people icon from here, right, to here. Now, of course, that's sea travel. That just happens automatically, but it's just telling me it will take 2 turns in order to travel over the sea to that space. Understood? And I think I'm just going to send everybody. So click this. This is where it's coming from on the left, where it's going to on the right. That's pretty obvious. And I could go one at a time, or I could just hold this down and send everybody pretty quickly. So I'll just send everybody, including my heroes. All right, so it's about 200 people total. That ought to be enough, unless there's something surprising there. And pretty much every turn, I got to remember to go build more forces. So I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good enough. Check on the quest. I don't have anybody here to send on quests. So that's that. And I think I'm good. All right, train some new recruits there. Now here's Shenzhen's ambassador coming back at me, having called his bluff. And now he's saying, your refusal to aid my cause will not be forgotten. All right, well, he was my enemy anyway, so what are you gonna do? Gotta break some eggs. Okay, nice. So the dwarf that I sent on the quest started off level 1. Now the dwarf shows back up, and he's now level 2, and he has an axe +1. Great. That doesn't happen all the time. That's actually a pretty good result. I love it. And a level 2 cleric has returned with a displacer cloak from a quest. Great. That's unusually handy. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm getting off to kind of a slow start. So starting off without any regular troops on an island, it's taking me a while to build up and get to the mainland. So he's right that I'm getting off to kind of a slow, kind of a slow start. So, and also getting threatened by the NPCs. So there's that. So I've got to keep building. Did I do that already? I did not. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just do that. So now that I've got people being built, being trained, I'm gonna send a continual stream to the mainland. Great. Now, should I send my dwarf cleric now, or should I send them on further quests? You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna send my dwarf over the sea, and I'm gonna keep my cleric going on more quests. It would be nice if the cleric could get super high level. So I'm going to send that cleric on another veteran's quest. Maybe he'll be 3rd level next thing we know. Okay. I think that's everything, right? So this turn, my forces should land on the mainland, right? Got some new recruits. My troops have arrived in the estate of Marilenev, barony of Vorloy by ship. Great. So I've taken it over, okay? The shield there says there wasn't any opposition, and I've taken it over. Now, when I take a new territory, there's one thing I've got to do every time, and if I forget this, it's disastrous, is I've got to build a keep right now. If I don't build a keep, then I automatically lose between 50 and 100 troops every single turn automatically from local resistance. All right, and in fact, if I check out, because I sent 200, right? I sent 200 troops in the first wave, and I'm currently down to about 140. So I have lost 60 troops just in the one turn taking it over, and that would continue turn after turn until they're all gone. So I've got to build a keep there. Yeah, this was certainly a lot easier than attacking one of my actual NPC enemies. So, pulling up the book of possible constructions. Got to go back to the keep, which is the very first and most important one. That one right there. Notice it costs 7,500 gold pieces. So every time I take over a territory, I've got to make sure I've got 7,500 in the bank in order to build a keep the next turn, which is what I'm doing right now. Right there, please. Great. Okay, so the little keep icon showed up, and you can also see I have icons for regulars and heroes there. And the other things I'm thinking about, should I build an armory in order to get new troops? I probably should. Now, it does cost 15,000. You know, let me hold off on that. Let me take a couple extra territories first, is what I'll do. So the troops that are here, I'm going to send them over here. Yeah, I'll send them over here. And I really need to send it, you know, over 100, because I could lose as many as 100 in a single turn taking it over. So I'll send all of them. Send more coming from here. Well, that's the hope, isn't it? I'm glad that warlords taking over other countries only happens in fantasy worlds. Huh? He grimaced. So Adam, I'm just reading. You're super unfamiliar with Mystara. You played in Faerun in 2nd edition, yeah. Yep. I hear that. I hear that. I did play a campaign of a number of years when basic D&D first came out, and all the original modules were set in this world, so I'm embarrassingly familiar with it. Okay, so I really want to use my armories to the max all the time, and not forget to do that. I guess I'm good with that, right? Okay, new recruits. Okay, so the questing cleric's doing pretty good. Now I have a level 3 cleric, and he returned with a medallion of protection. That's cool. Heroes can only carry one magical item. Your hero holds a displacer cloak. I just got a medallion of protection. Will you keep it? I'm not entirely sure what a medallion of protection does. Displacer cloaks are cool, so I'm leaning towards keeping that. Medallion protection. When a hero wears this medallion, his armor class is improved by 2. I feel like it's just I feel like a displacer cloak does. I mean, normally it does the same thing plus saving throws. So actually, I prefer the displacer cloak. Of true sight, I think is what he said. True sight. There's a couple. There's probably like about 10 to a dozen spells in the game, and he's reminding me that true sight is sometimes useful, even though it's not super flashy like some of the other spells. I like displacer beasts and I like displacer cloaks. They're among my favorites. So definitely make sure that I throw a keep in this new space that I took over. That is a must. Okay, so there's the keep there. And... Okay, so my goal is 9,000 now. So remember, the keeps cost 7,500, so I can take over one more territory and build a keep and be okay. Let's say I do that. Here? Do I have enough troops? Yeah, 120 will do it. Great. And that's really all I can afford with the troops there. So send more here. Displacer cloak. Neat. If I'm not doing anything over here, let's do some questing. I'm going to send all three of these characters off on a quest. The elf, the fighter, the magic user. And, you know, in D&D, you would think, you know, magic user on their own quest is probably doomed. But, you know, I think the quests here are level appropriate. So I think that magic user has a chance of coming back level 2, which would be nice. I guess that's it, right? So I sent characters here. I sent regulars here, so I'm going to take that. Your troops have arrived in Estate of Marilenev, Barely of Vorloy. Right, that's the regular shipment into the continent there. And I've also taken over this space. Got to throw down the keep. Like that. All right, and again, I don't see any enemies here. Right, at some point they're going to butt up against my territory. I think next turn I'll clearly have 7,500. What's level appropriate for a first level mage? A single rat? Yeah, I think so. Maybe like a skeleton? How about one skeleton? I feel like that's not bad. One skeleton with a scroll. Alright, I don't have enough troops here to take over another space. So I gotta throw some more troops into this space before I can do that. What about here? Could I go here? 92. I don't want to risk that. I really want at least 100. Right, I'm trying to do that, buddy. And building more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And sending more. Oh, I already did that. Okay. So I think that's everything this turn, right? Waiting for some more troops to get here so I can take over some stuff. All right. Magic has been used against you. Do you wish to view the affected countries? So most of the magic that gets simulated in this game is super high level. It mainly only simulates the highest level spells, like True Sight, I think is like a top level spell in basic D&D. So the stuff that gets simulated is generally like Death Spell, Control Weather, Earthquake, Meteor Swarm, stuff like that. So having magic used against me is probably one of those things, and it's very bad. I guess I want to be aware of it. I'm assuming it's probably that Glantry leader that sent that against me. I'm super unhappy about facing a 35th level mage. Let's at least find out what happened. Yikes. All right. Yeah. Okay, so... Oh no, there's more. So it looks like I'm getting hit by meteor swarms, is what that seems to tell me. This might be a really short game tonight. So on the one hand, I'm getting attacked by multiple meteor swarms from a 35th level mage enemy, but at least I have a 2nd level elf. So it's not all bad. So the 2nd level elf has Displacer Cloak. I have a 2nd level fighter with a Medallion of Protection. That's not bad. And okay, so the magic user has successfully defeated the rat skeleton, but has returned empty-handed. I guess the scroll fell apart. Great. I got troops landing here again. Your lands have been damaged. Do you wish to see the affected kingdoms? So if I do get hit by magic like that, it can automatically switch the shields to show me what the damage is. I don't normally do that, but I'll just do this once. So I got hit by magic here, and I got hit by magic here. Let me inspect what's going on. So I was supposed to have like about 200 troops here. Now I only have 100. At least that's enough to take over territory, I guess. So I might try to be aggressive and do that. I gotta be careful about something here. Okay, now I lost the keep. Right, I had a keep here before, and the meteor swarms wiped it out. So if I overlook that, I'm about to lose 100 troops this turn and lose the territory as a result. So I got to be real disciplined about keeping a keep in every space. Yeah. Right, I ought to be... I mean, in reality, I'd take the extra magic items and put them in my vault. And give them to somebody else. So fortunately, I have enough gold to rebuild the keep there. Now, I'm concerned that's the same case... Yeah, it's the same case here. Am I going to lose that space? Okay, so apparently my home base... I have a castle, but it wiped out both armories and my keep. That's super awful. Yeah, I'm getting annihilated from that 35th level mage. This is terrible. So it wiped out both my armories to build new troops. At the moment, I can't build any new troops, and my keep's gone. So I might actually lose that space right this second. And now I don't have enough money to rebuild a keep. Wow, that's embarrassing. Okay, I think that's all I can do. I don't have any other armories. I can't build any more buildings. Let's see if I lose this space on this turn. You know what? I'm going to send people on more quests, at least. I'm going to do that. That's the one thing that's kind of going well for me. So you, just everybody. All right, if I get enough money, I want to rebuild a keep on my home base. So I don't want to invade anything. How about you go here? All right. Let's see if we lose this space. I fear that I'm going to. Yep. Lost it. So just like that, my home base is gone. That's rough. That's rough. Ugh. All right, so I don't have any armories now, so I need to. I think I need to save up for 15,000 to build at least one armory. Like I say, this game does not take prisoners. Is everybody's off on a quest? I guess. Hope they didn't all die. I think that's all I can do here. Alright. So people are coming back 3rd level. Ring of Protection, that's nice. I would prefer to keep the Axe +1. I don't want that. Level 4 Cleric. So basically every time I send them on a quest, they come back 1 level higher, seems to be. Magic user the Ring of Protection, that's always nice. Alright, I have just barely enough money to make an armory, so I think I gotta do that. So I can build more troops. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't disagree. Alright, so there's the armory there, and now I'm out of money, so... You know, I'm just going to start... I'm going to send everybody on quests all the time here. If I'm going to contend with that 35th level mage... maybe like if maybe I'll get people up to nearly that level if I'm lucky. Yeah, maybe. Call that the turn. All right, magic has been used against me again. Do I wish to see the affected countries? And I can already see I'm losing keeps. All right, so he's just wiping me right off the board with the meteor swarms and stuff. This is. I really should. I should have looked at my NPC enemies more carefully. Yeah, so Adam, you're asking, is their level random? Because that's pretty crazy from the start. I guess I was supposed to be more knowledgeable about who I was picking, I guess. I actually did know that D'Amberville was the head of the Principalities of Glantry. I didn't think it would be that hellaciously out of my league. So I guess maybe I should have inspected the characters more carefully. Maybe I'll do that next time. So let's see what happened here. I guess I'm just getting jammed with meteor swarms. Yeah. Okay, so I know what just happened. So once again, I lost a keep here. Down to 76 fighters there. I was supposed to have like 200 or so. I don't have enough money to build a keep. He wiped out my keep. That territory is going to be lost. You know, I'm gonna evacuate my soldiers is what I'm gonna do. Because that. My borders are weak. Okay, I thought he was saying my orders are weak, which is not totally inappropriate. Totally don't have enough money to build castles. Totally out of my league. So that seems to be. That seems weird. I fear that the dwarf hero that I've got on a quest out of this space. I think I'm going to lose him because I'm going to lose control of that space here with no keeps. So that's ugly. Let's try building some more people here with the armory I built. That's all I can do there. I guess that's it. Yeah. So train some new recruits. I lost that space and magic's been used against me again. Wow, he's awful. Oh no. So that was a death spell. I think is what that is. So they cast death spell and just wipes out a whole lot of my troops that I have in that space. I am leveling up my heroes. Okay, level 4 fighter. Level 5 cleric. Okay, again, I like the Displacer Cloak more than a Medallion of Protection, so I'll keep that. Level 4 magic user. Yep, I know I've been damaged. So at least I have my 2 keeps there. Yeah, I know. I don't know what I'm going to do about him. I mean, I feel like he's probably up here. Like this territory way up here, this is where the mages of Glantry are. In the normal world, so he might be up here, and boy, I don't know how I'm gonna fend him off. Build some more troops. 1, 2, 3. Now I think next turn I'll have enough to build a keep. So I don't know what else I can do except try to expand in that direction and kind of be aggressive. I'm not happy that I have less than 100 troops, but it is what it is. I think that's what I got here. Okay, so there's some new recruits. Okay, so here's Shingen again, sending "Send me aid or face my wrath." Now I I neither really have enough aid to send him, nor can I take him on, as I just get plastered in this game. So so just suck it. I think I can send messages. Where is it? I actually think I can send messages, right, to other characters. All right. Okay. How about this? Maybe I can get a treaty with D'Amberville. Please stop hitting me with meteors. This is probably not really negotiating from strength. I will send you aid. I don't know if this does it. Treaty term. Okay, so I think this is the number of turns that we don't fight each other, I think. So maybe like 10 turns. Like that. We'll see what his response is in like a turn or two. All right, get a keep. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm considering it all the time. And more people. One, two, three. Still nobody in sight. I guess that's all I got. So fortunately, the questing is pretty dependable. I guess I'm getting a level every time I send someone on a quest, which is not bad. I did lose that dwarf that was based in the area I lost there. So there's that. D'Amberville has rejected my treaty. Not too surprising. It's not like I was really negotiating from strength. So... Let me try to... Okay, so maybe I will actually offer aid to Shingen to possibly team up against D'Amberville. Is that... Oh, I guess I can send money. I guess that's what I can do. Like 1,000? What happens if I send 1,000 gold? Is that acceptable? Okay, so I'll have 7,000 next time. Get up here. Oh, I don't have nearly enough troops. Do I have troops here? Okay, that's actually enough troops to take over space, and I will have 7,000 next time. Let's try this. I think I forgot to build. Did I? There we go. Damn it. Damn it. So there's another death spell. Get a level 5 elf. We like displacer cloaks, so we're going to keep those. And I'm just getting hit every single... Yeah, I know. All right. I am building keeps every time I have the opportunity. Okay, so there's that. Build more people. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'll point out that, you know, when they started me off in a place with 2 armories, right, meant that I could build 6 units, which is 120 soldiers, and that's enough to take over a new territory, right? And they started me with enough armories to build people to build over take over a territory every turn. Now that I'm reduced down to just 1 armory, I'm not building enough people to take over a territory every turn. So I'm building 60 and 60, and then that's enough. Let's send people here. Send people from here to here if I have any. You know, I don't like having all my heroes in one space, because if I get tagged with the meteor swarm... So the world is a hostile place. Perhaps I'm hated by many. Perhaps I should negotiate for peace. I mean, I did that with Shenzhen. It didn't seem to work. Oh, whoops. Okay, so I'm trying to send heroes from here to here. Like the elf. And then do some questing. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to... Oh, I see. I have a separate control for the music. That's what I should have done. All right. So I'm just dial down the music, but turn up everything else over here. Is what I'll do. I'm guessing that you're not hearing the DM talk to me super well. So.
You are not well liked, but giving aid to others may improve your status.
Yeah, but I don't have much, buddy. You know, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the DM effects. And that's going to make the game run a little bit faster. Like, instead of him, you know, pulling up the book. Of course, I can't afford any structures right now. Great. Do I have enough? I don't have enough. Okay, so I think that's everything I can do in my turn. That's aggravating. So here's Shenzhen responding to my... I gave him 1,000 gold a couple turns ago, and his response is, "Your offer is offensive. I have taken it, but this insult will not be forgotten." I haven't seen that. Oh, great. Well, that didn't work out. Let's see. Okay, so at least I have enough to build another keep. So I'm going to try to keep expanding here. Well, it's not enough troops to do it, though.
Your orders are weak. You might wish to consider building castles to strengthen them.
Okay, I'm also going to turn the DM advice off because I'm getting sick of hearing this. Well, okay, so you guys haven't heard that enough. So I'm going to leave it on a little longer to hear his advice complaining about how badly I'm doing. So do I have any place with... Okay, so that has enough to take over territory. I'm going to go up here. What was that? Dang it. I'm unclear on exactly who's... Isn't this... There we go. Alright, do that and train more troops.
Undead armies do not need food, sleep, or weapons, and thus are easy to maintain.
Interesting. Okay, so undead armies do not need food or sleep or weapons and are easy to maintain. True. On the other hand, the clerics, right, have a turn undead spell that's very powerful. So you can get hit by that, and that's kind of the counterbalance to having undead in your army, which isn't an option for me right now because I don't have a high enough cleric to make that. Also, I'm lawful, and I wouldn't feel great about it. 1, 2, 3. Guess that's it. Do some questing with him. All right, so I am taking over this territory right here. So in the turn. And I'm getting hit by magic again. Alright, the questing's going pretty well. Oh, I got a mace +1. I like magic weapons, obviously, because there's some... As we saw in Stronghold, like with whites, there's some monsters that can only be hit by magic weapons, so I tend to lean on that. The magic user tends to not get magic items. Let's see what my current... I was supposed to have 60 or 120 warriors here. Now I have 87 because of the death spell. Stinky. You notice that the death spell that the Grim Reaper represents isn't quite as horrible as the Meteor Swarm. The Meteor Swarm was killing people and wiping out my buildings.
Conquer more countries in order to stabilize your position.
So I feel like maybe the mage character like had some built-up magic that he depleted, and maybe I'm getting hit by not quite as bad a spell now. Maybe that's working in my favor. At least he's not wiping out my buildings. Okay, now that's... Okay, 16,000. Oh, wait, I need to keep, right? I was about to overlook that. Okay, so and I have enough to... I have enough to expand again, so let's try that again. Do I have enough to get here? No, I don't. Okay, so send some troops. Do I have enough to take this? Nope. Okay, so send some troops up here. No, there's no troops at all. I guess I've already sent them, right? I guess that's all I can do. So I guess I'm getting hit by a death spell every single turn. And I was supposed to have an army building up here, but now there's only 30 from what was before. I think I sent 80 there last turn, so it kills about 50 people each. So, well, I mean, I guess I could send troops from both here and there, right? So
you need to increase the size of your army, for thou can be easily crushed.
Thou can be easily crushed. Thanks a lot. So there's 34 there, and there's 34 there, and that's even combined. That's not enough to take over another territory. Send no troops at all. No, I haven't run into any enemy territories yet.
The world is a hostile place, and you are hated by many. Perhaps you should negotiate for peace.
Yeah, it's one of the more unusual. It's kind of an odd name, isn't it? Now, I happen to have over 15,000 gold, so I'm going to take the opportunity to build another armory. And that replaces the 2 that I had to begin with. And now, can I build with it in this turn? Probably not. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can. Okay, great. So now I can build... Now I'm back to building a total of 120 troops per turn. And hopefully that helps me expand a bit. Okay. So, send people here. That's a good deal. But I don't have enough here or here. I need over 100. I'm starting to get a little bit of gold income coming in at least, so that's not terrible. So I think next turn I'll be able to take over a new territory.
You are not well liked, but giving aid to others may improve your status.
Well, it didn't help me with Shingen. Let's call that the turn. And I guess I'm probably getting deathed again. So I'm trying to expand from this space, and I'm getting walloped. Oh no. What was that? Oh god! Holy smoke. So, you can probably guess what hit me here was, I believe, a control weather spell that throws up a tornado. I think it wiped out one of my armories, right? A second ago I had 2 armories and it wiped out one of them. So still have the keep. Don't have any troops present, even though I think I was building there. And wiped out one of my armories, so that hurt. I'm going to rebuild that armory is what I'm going to do.
Your borders are weak. You might wish to consider building castles to strengthen them.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. Now I will build as many people as possible. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do I have enough to invade someplace? That's enough to invade a place. And I will have 7,500 next turn. So how about we take this? And do some questing. Now you notice that the leveling of my heroes is slowing down. Like the first couple of quests, they were going up dependably 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think my mage has been like level 5 the last couple of quests. I think that's it. Okay, so I got new recruits. I'm getting hit by magic every single turn. What do you think would be a better name for the death spell? Oh God. Holy smoke. Keep the displacer cloak. So let's see what happened here. Now that didn't seem to actually affect me. Maybe I made a saving throw or something like that, because I have all the fighters that I expected, plus my 2 armories. So I guess that control weather spell didn't do so well. This place was supposed to have 60 fighters, now I just have 36. So keep it, keep this. Build more folks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll have enough next time to take over a space. Do I have enough troops to do that? No. Move these troops here. Move these troops here. That's not nearly enough. Quest and quest.
You need to increase the size of your army, for thou can be easily crushed.
Right. They turned it into... Thank you, guys. Circle of Death. That has some flavor to it. I like that. So there's 3,000. I guess that's all I got. We're all on the same page. I will point out, so maybe you might have guessed, there's these 3 globes at the top. This game does handle high-level spellcasters of actually 3 types. There's mages, which, traditionally we call magic users.
You should conquer neutral countries whenever possible, because they are easily overpowered.
I think that's the red one. The green one represents clerical magic power. And then in the Beckme rules, if you get a 9th level cleric, you can opt to switch them to become a druid. And this game actually does have that. So the last ball, which would glow blue, is your current druid magic strength. And obviously I don't have anybody high level enough for that. But I have a mage and I have a cleric, so that's kind of building up the magic strength there. And if it gets high enough, it's one of these, but is it this one? You do not have any magic items in your vault. So I think there's some specific magic items that this game doesn't give to characters, but doesn't give to heroes, but just puts in your vault. I don't have any of those.
The world is a hostile place, and you are hated by many. Perhaps you should negotiate for peace.
Yeah, well, I tried that. And then it's this one here, right? So I do have access to a couple spells at this point, enough strength for that. There is the Turn Undead spell. So if I'm next to a territory that has an undead army, and D'Amberville is very prone to possibly having that, I could cast Turn Undead on an area. And then the other thing I have is I do have access to True Sight now. And I'm not entirely sure what that does. Does that allow me to see? I bet that allows me to see any territory, right? Where are the spells? Cleric spells and abilities. True Sight. True Sight provides you with complete information about an enemy region. Casting this is effectively the same as using the View button, but allows you to view enemy regions. So, I think I'm thinking about, should I try to use that to spot where the enemy is? But I guess I will. I'm gonna forego that and wait until I actually know where the enemy is before I start scanning their spaces. I'm also going to read the Turn Undead ability here. Turn Undead. Using this ability allows the cleric to turn or destroy enemy troops. It costs no spell power, unlike other spells. Well, that's important. But can only be used one time per game turn. Typically between 30 and 60 undead troops can be destroyed every time Turn Undead is used. Well, I got to remember that. So if I do see undead troops, it doesn't cost me anything to cast one Turn Undead spell.
That's not well liked. Giving aid to others may improve your status.
Alright, I think I'm done with listening to his awful advice. Alright, so I think I know what I need to do. Alright, I think that's all I can do this turn though, right? I don't know if people here, or here, or here to take over a space. But they're coming from this space. Alright. So new recruits, people coming back from quests. It seems like I'm getting stuck at the 5th level. It seems like that's as much as I'm getting to. And so I have troops here and here. Can I tell you what, I'm going to take over this space. Like that. I'm actually getting a little traction now. Now that I have 2 armories, I actually am getting a little bit of traction at least. Thinking about building a third by the stages. It is known as the Spell of Death. Anyway, I'm committed to taking this space now, so that's the end of my turn. I'm hoping so. Certainly, like the spellcasters, right? You're asking, will the heroes help later on? The spellcasters will build up this campaign level magic, and I'll be able to possibly like get the death spell myself or something like that. And then when I do get into a battle finally, they are pretty helpful in the battle. That space is getting hit hard. Oh my lord. Okay, well that took my momentum away. Holy smoke. So, that was my replacement capital right there, and he hit me with a control weather spell, and that actually wiped out everything. That wiped out my keep, my 2 armories, and everything. Weather control. This. Okay, so what weather control does is creates a raging whirlwind that wreaks havoc on 25 to 55% of the enemy buildings, and 10 to 25% of the enemy troops. So I guess I get basically a saving throw for each building, and it's got about a 50% chance of wiping out the buildings. And it did wipe out my keep plus my 2 armories, and now I'm back to having no way of building troops. Oof, oof. Never mind the other 2 death spells I just got hit by. Yeah. Oof. Well, okay, so I gotta build a keep in the space I just took over. Got it. I have just enough to build 1 armory. You know, I'm gonna build it up here near my border so I can churn out troops and take over stuff. I will say that classically, when I play games, I don't lose nice. So I'm kind of semi-infamous for not conceding and like going down in the most bitter fashion I possibly can find. So that's sort of happening here. Here. But overall, I actually am getting more spaces rather than less. So I guess it's everything I can do. Well, actually, I did make an armory, right? So I can use the armory immediately. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's try that. Okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. So I get hit by an earthquake, as you can see. I'm getting hit by a death spell. I'm getting hit by weather control again, where I just built the armory. Okay, so they wiped out my keep there, right? So job number 1 is rebuild the keep, so that I don't lose that space entirely. And you know what? That's enough to take over another space. So I'm gonna take over more spaces and see if I can't spread out enough that he can't hit me everywhere. Let me expand up here. I will have enough for a keep next turn. Here. Right. There's heroes here that I'll send questing. Just looking at those icons there. Build some more fighters. 1, 2, 3. I do not have, right, I don't have any troops in these other spaces at all. So admittedly, if somebody comes in, I'm going to be in really bad shape if they invade me. And that's it, right? Okay, now I didn't get hit by spells on that turn. So, so I'm gonna count my blessings on that. Build a new keep here. Build more fighters. 1, 2, 3. I guess, okay, so if I have the capacity to build more armories, I guess I better start spreading them out, right? I guess building the 2 armories in the same space, while it was going to be convenient for my user interface, was bad for getting hit by the control weather spell on one shot. So I need to start spreading my stuff out if I'm building more. I think that's it, right? So can I take over another space? No. Go up here. Do some quests. You and you. I guess that's all I've got on that turn. Okay, no magic that turn. All right, if that's a good sign. So having 96 troops, that's like right on the border of where I might risk taking over a territory. This seems to be like a. I think I need to kind of take a riskier strategy here if I'm going to succeed. So I actually will. I'm going to build an armory there. And I'm going to send troops from there to take over this space. And I might lose them all. If the dice come up bad, I might actually lose all 96 of these fighters. But I think the odds are in my favor. Okay, so build here, 1, 2, 3. Train here, 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's try that. I hopefully I haven't miscalculated. I think I have enough spaces. I'll have 7,500 when I get to my next turn. Okay, so you see, I actually have built up enough magic power that now I can send a death spell if I want to. I don't know where my enemy is, though, is the problem. So I don't want to do that. And I actually do have Animate Dead. So am I desperate enough? Am I desperate enough to start animating dead in order to increase my army? I might actually be desperate enough to do that. I'm not going to do it until I know where the enemy is, though. So at least that's now an option. Now that red globe has gotten, enough power in it. Let's go for that and hope that I have 7,500 to build a keep there. Yes, good. Okay, so building new recruits. I do get hit by spells here. Was that 50 to 60 troops killed, I guess? Okay, so 5th level heroes. Build the keep. Move my forces around. I'm kind of aiming, right, I'm aiming up towards where the mages are usually based, up here. If I can do some kind of clever thing to kill him. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't have the capacity to build the more expensive troop types, so that's all I'm doing there. These are regular troops. I'm just scanning around for the icon for heroes. I guess that's all I got. Okay. Okay. Alright. Didn't get hit by spells that turn. That's good. Okay, so I do have 120 here. I got 82 there. So I'm going to go with my plan to extend north as far as I can. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Now I have just barely enough to build an armory. I actually think I have enough. I'm looking at my totals right now. That little flag at the end is my total for the whole thing. Okay, so my income is 15,000. I got 8 kingdoms. I got 15,000 income. So I will definitely be able to build a keep if I expand next turn. My troop cost. I guess my troops cost. Yeah, I guess you got to pay for food for the troops. It looks like maybe I've lost some heroes along the way. This is reporting I only have 1 elf and 1 cleric hero. So I guess I must have lost my mage hero along the way. And I think I also had a fighter that I lost along the way, so that's kind of unfortunate. Unless they're currently out on a quest and will come back later. Maybe that might be happening. I only have 2 armories. So to the point is I have enough to build another armory. I'm going to do that right here. Oh, geez. Wow, that really tapped me out, didn't it? Okay, that's clearly all I can do. So in that turn... What happened here? So that control weather wiped out my keep and my armory that I just built. So got to throw the keep back up. There's no question about that. And not quite enough to go to invade something. I really want to expand. You know what? I'm going to take over this space here, this part of Alfheim. I'm going to do that. You know, maybe if I expand and just like throw down an enormous number of fighters at this guy, maybe I'll be able to pull this out. I do have heroes here. Just that elf there. That's all I got. Okay, so taking this space here on this turn. Just reviewing for myself exactly what the death spell does. It has no effect on buildings and has a 20 to 60% mortality rate among enemy troops. 20 to 60%. So I actually did a kind of good thing there, because I was gonna send most of my troops into that space that just got hit, and by doing that I kind of dodged the worst of the death spell. So I did take over this new space over here. Okay, so that's something. No, that's not what I meant. I'm just going to flood the board with cheap fighters. That's my current plan. Now I have 47 there and I have 41 there. That's not enough together to take over a space. I'm trying to gauge whether he's going to keep hitting me with a death spell on the far border. Tell you what, I'm going to lean towards just making sure I can take over new spaces. So I'll take over this space. Let's try that. Okay, we're getting recruits. Elf comes back. Prefer the displacer cloak. You know, I will say that I'm surprised that I haven't encountered any enemy areas. This is actually going very, very long, unusually long, to not actually get adjacent to enemies and have a fight. So I'm actually, previously that usually happens pretty fast. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't happened yet. So, Armory, right? So now I have the chance to make a new Armory. How about... Let me just kind of assess. Okay, so if I build an armory in this space, I could just build fighters, that's it. If I build an armory here, I could bake elves and fighters. So every space has a particular troop types that an armory unlocks for you. If I build it here, I could get just fighters. I guess that's elves and fighters, and that's just fighters. All right, I'm gonna build an armory here to have access to both elves and fighters. Not that I'm building a lot of elves at the moment, but I will have that option later. 53 troops. Okay, let's try to consolidate my troops so that I can take over more territories with about 100 or so. Okay, there's 120 here. Let's do this. This. Okay, and so I'm really grinding this out. You know, I just sent troops into that space to try to consolidate them, and I guess he guessed that's what I was doing. But okay, build a keep here. Gotta do that. How many do I have here? 60. This space has like 80, right? Okay, so if I'm gonna approach him up there, I guess I have to come around the side. So this space has 40, and this space has 66. Okay, so push them up here. And over here. Here. Okay, so I do have 3 armories in operation. At least there's that. I think that's all I got this turn. Ooh, what was that?
With so many undead troops, perhaps you had better serve chaos.
What? What the hell was that? With so many undead troops, I should serve chaos? I don't think I've built any. That had to be a bug. That's weird. I mean, unless he's counting just everybody being dead on my side. Oh, God. So that wiped out an armory right there. Okay, at least I have keeps everywhere. So I'm down to 2 armories. Let me just look at this. I mean, I don't... Okay, so at the moment I have all regular fighters. I don't have undead. That must have been... It knows I'm thinking of using animate undead. You are correct, sir. Brother. Okay, can't invade from there. It's just slightly too low. Boy, just below 100. Let's throw down an armory here. You know, I'm gonna take more risks. So there's 90 there. I'm gonna invade from here to here. Is what I'm gonna do. That's good enough. It seems like I think he must know. He must know where I've got the most troops, because every time I gather troops together, he hits me with a death spell there that wipes out half of them. So now I'm kind of gun shy about that. Just checking. Okay, so now I only have an elf for a hero. I just don't have the resources to do any better than that. Okay, that's everything I can build. So into that turn. Okay, so I'm back to three armories. Build a keep here. Remember, I sent 90 troops into this space here, and now I've only got 15. Right, you lose 50 to 100 every single turn. You're in a space without a keep, so that was a little bit dicey, but I managed to pull it off. I'm gonna build another armory. I'm gonna build armories until he can't hit them all at once. How about here? Okay, another turn I'm going to start building elves, actually. Is this good? Okay, there's 120 there right now. Let's take over this space. Try this again. Wait a minute. So I can move... Okay, interesting. So from here I can move to that space here. Well, that's interesting. And I could also move from this space. And I'm making 25,000 a turn. So I can actually build 2 keeps if I need to. Let's do that. Let's just make sure I have enough space. So it's 60 here. And 50 here. That's over 100. I can totally do that. Okay, so go from here to here. Go from here to here. And I'll take over 2 spaces this turn. That should surprise him. Through to here. Okay, try, just check I've got everything building I possibly can. So try that for a turn. Taking over two territories. Recruits and recruits and recruits. Now I have 4 armories working, which is good. I did get hit by magic here. I did built up a bunch of troops there, so he's being smart about that. I mean, he does have 18 intelligence in addition to everything else. Oh, so my elf came back with a bow +1. That's always handy. I like that. Keep the bow +1. Just get by 1 death spell. But I still have 120 troops there. So, keep this. Keep this. And now pretty much any place that I've got 100 troops or so, I'm going to attack from there. About here, 21. Here is just the elf. Let's send him on a quest. Okay, for here. Okay, so I was trying to get troops built up here. Let's do that. How about trying to dodge those horrible death spells. Okay. All right, and build troops. Okay, I'm going to build some elves, actually. They're very expensive. 1, 2, 3. Why not? Not a lot of them. It's really amazing. I'm really amazed. I can't see any enemy forces on the board. But so this turn, I'm taking over this 1 new space. So there's my armory training new troops, and this time I got hit by an earthquake. Wonderful. Let me just check what the earth and a death spell. Great. So I'm just checking up what the earthquake does, so I'm aware of it. Earthquake affects 20 to 50% of buildings and 10 to 20% of enemy troops. Also, as if that wasn't bad enough, there's a 10 to 25% that any castle walls in a target region are destroyed. So I think I got kind of lucky that this space here that got hit didn't actually lose any buildings. I still have the keep. I still have the armory. So that wasn't too bad. Getting quite a bit of money here. I'm going to throw down another armory here. Now, this space is in the known world. It's called the Broken Lands, right? And so this is a space that has a lot of monster types in it. So you can see here now I have the option of training orcs and even shadow elves, which are, you know, classically called dark elves, you know, live mostly underground, stuff like that, have a huge kingdom under this tip space. So I'm going to say, why not? Anybody that's willing to serve my cause, bring it on. So I'm going to train 2 units of orcs and a unit of shadow elves. Go for it. I cannot pick my allies. One, two. Right. Sorry, since it takes 2 turns to build elves, that's all filled up there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm kind of hoping if I run into the Dambervilles that they're going to have a whole lot of this magic and they're not going to have many actual troops. That might not be a great hope, but that's what I'm hanging on to here. Looking for things I can invade from. Okay, I can invade from here. Why not? Expand in the desert here, I guess. So there's that, and I've got all the troops building I possibly can. Well, I kind of agree with that. They're actually pretty cool, right? The truth is, Adam, I think that's honestly why I did it myself. Alright, so that's everything here. Let me just see if there's any more spells. So there's Death, there's Animate Dead. I guess that's it, right? Oh, okay. So I've built up enough clerical power that I could cast Earthquake if I wanted to. Okay, so again, I still don't know where my enemies are. So let's see into that turn. Recruits, and recruits, and recruits, and recruits. Okay, so I'm trying to... There's my elf coming back. So I'm trying to churn out as many, just as many troops all over the place as I can so that his spells don't wipe me out. Where can I invade from? Here? That's over 100. Okay, got some orcs, got some fighters there. Let's expand here. Here. What this place? 71, that's not enough. Okay, now I do have enough here, but that's not... I really want to try to go in this direction. I'm probably going to get these guys all wiped out with a death spell, but I've got to go in that direction, I feel. Now there's a unit of elves, or there's a unit of regular elves that I've managed to build up. God, every time I build up in this space, he crushes me there. You know, maybe I'll send them over here. Try to avoid that. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just building a whole bunch of elves now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have a little bit of gold to play with, which is good. Here. Okay, so 2 more units of orcs, and I guess that's all I can do there. Alright, so I'm taking over this space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got recruits coming on, and yes, I do get hit by the death spell here. So basically he picks wherever I have the most troops, which is what he ought to do. Wherever I have the most troops, he manages to hit me. Now, I can't see him. I'm a little bit suspicious why he can see me all the time. But that's really hurting me. So Adam's asking, can you use Earthquake Death Spell without seeing their spaces? I think the answer is yes, but I need to pick a space. If I pick a space where he's not actually at, it's going to be wasteful. So I'm kind of waiting to be adjacent to a space, so I actually know it's hitting him and not just nothing. Okay. So that's got people in it. Alright, so this space, I got a whole melange of orcs and elves and fighters. And I'm kind of hoping he's low on magic power. Okay, this is enough to take over this space that I've been trying to do for a while. And here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's a pretty good guess that he might have a crystal ball. Or, you know, he might have so much magic power that he can just throw True Sight down all the time. That's the other thing that I'm kind of guessing at, maybe. That is not useful. Alright, you know, I'm going to... I got a little gold to play with. I'm going to build another hero fighter, which I haven't had in a while. In fact, you know what? I'll build 3 of them. Okay, now that's going to use up my armory for 3 turns, but so be it. Get some more orcs. And, you know, I have enough to build another armory. So how about I do that up here? Do it. So that's another space where I can get orcs and shadow elves, right? So do that. Okay. Oh, man. Well, that hurt. So that space that I'm building into, right? I had a keep, I had an armory, and he just wiped out both of them with the meteor strike. Yeah, he does not want me to be there. And I also had a whole bunch of troops there, so keep it. And then throw a keep down here, and then. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll start building the armory 1 space back from the border so that he's not quite so incented to hit me right where my troops are building up. The meteor swarm, that's tough. That's a lot of value that just got wiped out. Yeah, True Sight, I believe, yeah, True Sight does get through the Fog of War, yep. Brother. You know, I'm going to take this space over here. So I'm going to have the entirety of the Broken Lands under my control. So I'll take this space over here so that he doesn't have one place to beat on me. That's interesting. Sorry. Is that enough? That's not enough. Boy, this is really hard with the rate that he's killing troops on the border as I try to build them up. This is like really hard. I almost have half a mind to charge in with just 83 troops, but that's... I'm going to regret that. Let's not do that. Here. Of course, now there's you can see there's quite a bit of management I have to do now. Particularly with my armories all spread out. In some sense, right, it would have been more convenient if I could build all my armies in one space. But then he sends the control weather after me when that happens, so... Or the earthquake. Okay, so I'm taking this space over here. That's what I got. Alright. No magic that turn. Okay, which means that I've got an army sitting here I can use to expand. I'll go from here to here. So that's an army with over 260 troops in it. That would be, I'm sure, for him a delightful target for a death spell or something. Do I have stuff here? That adds up to about 70. It's about 30 there. Okay. So if I expand from two directions, that gives me a little bit more. That gives me a little bit more breathing room on him hitting me like that. Yeah, how about here? You know, the funny thing is, I'm not even sure that they started him in the place where the known world normally has the mage leaders. So I could be expanding here to the northwest and then find out that he's not actually there. So there's that, and now I have to recruit troops. I have those hero fighters that should be showing up pretty soon. Guess that's what I got there. And okay, that's. I was about to build another armory, but I paid a little bit too much money for the elves for that. So that's my turn. Here come the recruits. Got hit by a spell. Yeah, right here. There's a pretty big group of troops there, so that makes sense. Oh, Lord. Every time I build up troops, I get hit by that. But I'm still managing to expand here, which is good. And I even have enough. I have so many people there, I can invade again. Okay, so I think so. Normally they're in this location around here. So let's take this space. Now there's 108 regulars here, so that's just barely enough. I'm going to also take this space. Using my orcs and, whoops, and my elves. What happened to those? Yeah, you know, so it probably is an advantage here that I know at least what troop types are where. I know where the elves are, I know where the orcs are, I know where the dwarves are, stuff like that. I fear that my orcs just disappeared. That's not 100. Now I fear that I might have misclicked something. No, okay. I guess I must have hit the 6. I must have sent the 40 orcs in, and it just doesn't show it in the interface anymore. So I think this is okay. think. Does it show me? Okay, hopefully I didn't screw that up. Now I'm kind of cruising towards wrapping up time here on the Elder Time stream. I'm trying to get to a point where I at least get adjacent to an enemy, and I'm accustomed to that happening a lot faster in the game. Maybe last time I had more enemies. Maybe that's what happened. But I at least want to get adjacent to somebody just to see where they are tonight. Okay, there's my. Okay, I just got my three heroes popping up. So I'm going to send all three of them on a quest. 1, 2, 3, trying to level them up. And use all of my armories. And I have enough gold that I can actually build stuff. So how about another armory here? And maybe I should consider this other stuff. So I tell you what, I'll build one armory here, and then I will, like, someplace that he doesn't really want to hit a lot. Like down here, I will make... You know, I can do both of these, right? I'm going to build a cleric temple here. And then I will build a wizard tower here. How about that? Okay, so these aren't places that have armories. These aren't places that I'm building up a lot of troops from moment to moment. So I'm trying to spread stuff out as much as I possibly can. Kind of inconvenient for me, but also inconvenient for him. So that's going to be my turn. And I just took over 2 spaces. So here come my recruits. And what am I getting hit? Okay, I'm getting hit by an earthquake on my armory. So he's trying to wipe that out. Didn't work though. And he's hitting the same space with a death spell. I think I had like 180 troops there. I don't know. Okay, so I remember I spent 3 new fighters on quests. One of them just died on the quest. And there's that. Yeah, let me just check. So I had 180 and now I'm down to about 120 there. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I did take over these 2 spaces. Keep that, keep that. All right, and let's see if I can just expand at least one more time. So that I can expand from. This is not enough. This is enough. Can I go from here someplace? All right, let's try that. So I'm just taking over every space of the mage territory that I can. Take that. Take this. I really kind of expected to see enemies in those spaces. You know what? Just pile on there while I'm at it. Send him in. Do I have enough here? No. Do I have enough here? You know what? Between the 2 of these, I could take over this space. Okay. All right. So he keeps hitting me with the magic, but I think I'm generally gaining velocity. Unless when I find him, he's got like an army with thousands and thousands of people in it. I'm not doing that bad. I really, you know, a couple turns in, I really thought I was just immediately dead. When I lost my capital, I was down to two spaces. So as many as I possibly can. All right, and yeah, so I'll build a cleric hero in this base, and I'll build a mage hero in my wizard tower. Actually, I can build a couple, right? I can build, no, I guess just one. Yeah, okay, so I guess those spaces can just build one of the heroes. So there's that. You know, I could build one more armory, but I'm gonna forego that. So this particular turn, I'm taking over 3 spaces. I'm taking this, this, and this. And frankly, I'm gonna be a little surprised. Right, I'm scanning my border to see an adjacent space with an enemy shield in it. So this will be the last turn I take here tonight. And we'll just see if I get adjacent to... Oh, there's an armory there I didn't use. 1, 2, 3. And actually, that's the end of the map right there. So we'll see if I get adjacent to somebody on this turn as I expand, and then we'll probably call it quits. So let's see if that happens. Okay, so I'm getting recruits, I'm getting recruits, I'm getting recruits. Okay, great. So I'm having at least 2 hero fighters coming back successfully, and I'm just going to check my border here. Yeah, hey, good to see you, Disparrow. I definitely had to check the manual before I got started the last couple days. I'm still not seeing them. I'm still not seeing enemies on my border. Amazing. You notice I didn't get hit by spells that time. So I've taken a big chunk of the known world over, and I'm still not seeing either of my 2 enemies. So maybe they're down here. I guess I can confirm they're not in the normal place for the mages, because I think I'm adjacent to all those places now, right? So if they were here, 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 or here, I would see them at this point. Let me throw down keep so I don't forget. Here, and here, and here. So interesting. So I've taken over a good chunk of the known world, and I seem to have pretty good velocity that I'm getting more and more gold and more people. It is a little bit aggravating that I'm having to do this like Zerg rush strategy of keeping everybody as many people as possible spread out as many places as possible. But I fought back from the ropes. They had me on the ropes right at the start, and I'm doing better than that. So I'm going to wrap up tonight, and there's another mode of the game that we totally haven't seen, right? The actual battle arcade mode we haven't seen tonight. So here I am doing just entirely campaign work. Apologies for not seeing that. We'll come back. Remember, schedule's changing next week. I'll be on late Tuesday night next week. And while the TDR crew on our channel will be playing Thursday night. So look for that next week. I'll come back here and try to track down my 2 horrible opponents. One of whom is just rude, and the other whom is a mega level archmage. So I'll try to track them down and see if I can possibly finish them off next week. So there's that. Again, if you're really interested in Mystara, the known world, look at the link I've got on YouTube for the documents from the original design that was released kind of recently. That was pretty interesting. You know, if this gives you any ideas for your D&D game about how to do high-level campaign play, right? I think it's an interesting difference between this high level of abstraction in Fantasy Empires versus the much more detail in the Stronghold game. So if you have an idea about that for your D&D game, feel free to leave that as a comment, and I would love to see that. And, you know, on our Discord channel, the last couple days we've been having an ongoing discussion about castle costs. One of our members was looking at a new book by Matt Colville, and we were kind of having some back and forth about what castle costs ought to look like in D&D. That was pretty interesting. So maybe these two games give you some ideas for that, and we'll continue to look at that discussion. Cool. And then finally, this Sunday, the Wandering DM show, Sunday afternoon, we're going to do another one of our design dashes. So we're going to take a dungeon map, and me and Paul, in 1 hour, give ourselves 60 minutes, design the whole dungeon really fast live. So feel free to tune in. We usually take some ideas from viewers. And if you have good ideas for dungeon number 3 in our Dungeon Design Dash series, we'll look forward to seeing that on Sunday. Cool. And of course, if you're new to the channel, like, follow, subscribe, and we are on YouTube and Twitch, where we're streaming tonight, as well as Facebook and Twitter and GitHub and TikTok. So look for Wandering DMs on those sites, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys maybe Sunday, and if not, then I'll be back next Tuesday for more playing games from the Elder Times of Fantasy Empires Part 2. Cool. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching me fight back from the edge of total disaster tonight, and we'll see if I can't possibly actually win it next week. Don't forget to save it, Dan. Right. Okay, so I gotta remember how to save this. Oh, that's a okay. Right, send it to disk. What did I name my character again? Kelvin? Kelvin 1, right? There we go. Okay, that's saved. So we'll be back next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.